All right. All right. All right. I think y'all have been waiting long enough. Let's lower that a little bit in my head. Actually, let's do this. Yeah, make sure the music sounds good. All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Late Night TCG here on YouTube.com/The Shuffle Squad. I am Koopa of The Shuffle Squad, aka Kyle Rios, and I'm going to be your host as usual here on this lovely late Wednesday night, and it's a late one. We haven't had one of these in a while, but yeah, we're here. Twilight Masquerade is legal tonight, so I want to, first of all, on behalf of everyone in the Shuffle Squad, thank you guys for your patience. Given everything that happened with TCG Live today, so we appreciate all of you guys for sticking with us and hanging in there. But we now have pairings for today's top cut, and you know what? I hope you guys are as excited for this as I am, because it's gonna be a good night. And I say while we're gonna talk about the pairings just a little bit here. Again, like I said, Twilight Masquerade is legal tonight, so all of your new favorite cards are here tonight. The Ogre Ponds, Dragapult, old favorites like Lugia are back in style. Among other cards, decks like Charizard and such are obviously still going to be very, very popular. And yeah, we're going to hope that we're a good showcase of all of that. We got some heat tonight, and I'm going to try to pick which I think might be the best match here. So let's take a look here. I think we're going to do, let's do Nelson. We're going to do Nelson Guillen. Nelson is playing Gouging Fire, and he's going to be going against Dakartaz. Dakartaz playing Miraidon. So let's take a look here. How will you look at that? Already getting underway here. Looks like we are seeing things from Nelson's perspective. Nelson, again, rocking the Gouging Fire. Kind of, I'd say, a rogue sleeper pick here. You got 3 Gouging Fires. Gouging Fire, obviously, has that insane Blaze Blitz attack, 260 for 2 fire and a colorless, and really not that hard to power up. That being said, here we see Dakartaz going first. Not a bad choice. Again, if you're playing against Miraidon, if you can avoid the opening, KO, if you can mitigate them going second, you're probably in a good spot. And as you see right here, Dakartaz hitting big off the Electro Generator, while also being able to hit, energy in hand as well. And we're gonna get the board loaded up here. We see 3 energies on the Iron Hands already. You see Squawkabilly in the active, so you're doing what Miraidon does best, man. Again, I talked briefly about decks that are experiencing a renaissance right now, thanks to the new format. And one of those most popular ones, for sure, is gonna be Miraidon. Miraidon getting I don't want to say a slew of new tools, but I'd say a boost in other decks becoming a little bit more popular. Obviously, if with Pokemon like Lugia becoming much more popular again, it makes sense that Miraidon would pop back up in popularity. And we're seeing double Squawk on either side here. Interesting stuff. So we're gonna see that come down here. Do we see Mew drop to restart first, or do we Squawk first? Looks like we're gonna promote to the active here. We're gonna be able to get an attack off at the very least. Draw 2. So there we go. Squawk and seize the hand away. Draw 5, or draw 6. Excuse me. And a great hand to draw into here. You get the Iron Valiant coming down. The Iron Valiant, obviously, a card that you saw paired a lot in these sort of like weird, Entei cross hybrid decks. You know, being able to ping 20 damage onto something is very, very good. There you go. Take a look at the Forest Seal. Since you're going to get the Sada's Vitality, it is going to allow Nelson to get an attack off here. We're going to see Blaze Blitz for 2 prize cards. Let's see, there's any Greninja hit the floor here to possibly get some draw on action next turn. And there we go. Sada's Vitality going to accelerate that fire energy. And we draw into the new Lucian card. Lucian, a very, very interesting card here. Each player gets to shuffle their hand to the bottom of their deck. And if you put cards on either side, both players flips a coin. If you flip heads, whoever flips heads draws 6 cards. Whoever draws tails draws 3. So, decent risk reward. Nice hand disruption. And again, just an incredible turn 1 here. The Blaze Blitz going to come through for 260, knocking out the Squawkabilly. Great first game there for Nelson. Absolutely popping off. Hitting everything you need there. You know, you had the Squawk, you had the Sada, you had the Magma Basin and the attach from hand. So that's really going to get things rolling here. You see the Legend Generator here again. Are we going to be able to hit? Looks like we got a double. Going to put that on the Raikou. So Raikou will at least be able to attack here this turn. I don't know if we're going to see enough for a knockout here. You got to do the math. 60, 120, 180. Yeah, you're going to be about 10 short of a knockout, I believe, if you attack for Lightning Rondo here. Let's be able to get a couple more Pokemon out. Yeah, it's that. So I think that is just enough to be able to get the knock here. We're going to see Tandem Unit come through to get another Lightning Pokemon on the board here. Raichu V going to be the choice. Not a bad Pokemon. Really good for being able to hit those high numbers that you might not be able to hit with Miraidon or Iron Hands. You know, that dynamic spark attack. Really, really good. The Tauslaur coming out. That's also going to allow free retreat here in Miraidon, as Miraidon only has 1 retreat cost. So we're going to see the Raikou come through, fleet-footed before we do anything, obviously. Weighing over the options here. Maybe think about thinning out a little bit more at the head. Or we're just going to... Okay, yep, just manually attach right there. Smart stuff. Restart going to draw 1. Fleet-footed to draw 1 more. There we go for Lightning Rondo for 220 damage. Full bench, hit that for max capacity. That is going to allow Dackertaz to get on the board here. But now we've started the even prize trade race. Let's see if Nelson is going to be able to keep pace here. That's going to be obviously the important part. So we got 2 fire energies in the deck right now. 1 in the hand. It's going to bode a little awkward. We're going to see Magma Basin connector to the Entei V. And if all goes well, we are going to be able to see return KO here. Only 200 HP on Raikou V. Yep, not even going to waste time. Dude, we're going to put down... No, we're going to go for the Lucian instead. Like I said, both players shuffle their hands, put it at the bottom of their deck, and flip a coin. If you get heads, congratulations, you draw 6. And if you hit tails, you draw 3. So... there you go. I'm going to go Ultra Ball once again to establish a gouging fire here. It's going to be huge. Oh, going to go for the Fleet-footed again. Just draw a card. Energy Switch. Good to have for later. There you go. Burning Rondo for 220. So the Rondos are coming out here tonight. Both legendary dogs coming through doing what they do best, and that is do very consistent damage for a very, respectable energy cost. So again, this is where these decks kind of tend to struggle a bit, I would imagine. The hardest part for Miraidon is that Miraidon doesn't really have access to a lot of good single prize attacking options to really offset that prize trade. So they're going to have to get the KO here while also being able to maybe bump that stadium. Yeah, getting the bump on Magma Basin is going to be huge here because the hand for Nelson is very good. They're going to be able to win into game on the next turn if there's no setup here. All right, we're going to boss. Okay, ooh, this is smart stuff. Looks like we're possibly going to boss up the Squawkabilly here. That's most likely going to be the target. And 280 also does put it does put Iron Hands out of range of being knocked out next turn. As Gouging Fire only does 260. So not necessarily game ending here. Nelson is going to get another turn out of all this. Here we go. To Amp, you very much going to come through for 3 prize cards. That is going to put Dakartaz 1 prize card away from going up 1-0 here. Great time for that to come through. Having the boss orders in hand, everything working out perfectly. Oh, we got the Prime Catcher. That's so huge. Yeah, that's massive. Yep, and Burning Rondo does exactly enough to 180 damage with the bench Pokemon in play. And there we go. What a time to draw the Prime Catcher right there for Nelson. Going up 1-0 here in top cut. Excellent stuff, man. Again, Gouging Fire, a deck that is, I think, I don't want to say criminally slept on. I do still think this deck struggles into some of the bigger meta threats. But that is still very good. Being able to hit for that sort of number is nuts. Not many decks can hit for, 260 or any sort of big number like that. And I think that's a good trait to have. You don't get Iron Hands very easily. You don't, you might struggle maybe a little bit against Charizard, but, hey, don't we all? As these guys get set up for game 2, let's talk about the rest of Top Cut. We got Takita, our top seed tonight, 11-3, with the Raging Bolt Ogerpon deck, a deck that I think is high key very, very good. They're going up against TRT's 101, playing the Lugia. Hopefully we get to see a little bit of them possibly later, but Takeda's already up 2-0 in that one. All right, we got Roadkill X42 going up against Hayden E. Hayden E up 1 game in that. Hayden rocking. I actually don't know what they're playing. Oh, they're playing. They're playing Charizard Greninja. That's cute. We see it, and then we're seeing Arc Aerodactyl on the other side here for Roadkill. Seems very control oriented. That has the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon in it, so it's cute. And then Liam. Acer going up against Adam Calumet. Adam rocking the Charizard Pidgeot. They're going up against Snorlax Stall. So, could be a tough one. And we're up 1-0 here with Nelson. So let us see how game 2 fares here for Dakartaz and Nelson. Now, I'm assuming that Dakartaz chose to go second. That is the best case scenario for Miraidon. Let's see, tandem unit. Hit the deck here. It's going to allow you to get the rest of your pals out, as that is a good chunk of the game. All right, tandem unit going to get a Raikou and a second Miraidon. Second tandem unit going to go ahead and grab the Zapdos. Pokemon Go Zapdos. A staple in the Miraidon deck since its iteration. Having that lightning symbol ability where basic lightning Pokemon except Zapdos do 10 more damage with their attacks. So that does allow Miraidon to knock out a Entei V on this turn, as it is able to hit 230. So we'll see if it all pans out all right here. There's a generator. Do we hit? We hit to a Miraidon. If we get the one attachment from hand and a switch out, then that is a knocked out Entei. Raikou popping a Forest Seal Stone. I imagine we're grabbing another generator. Yep, seems to be the case. Gonna see if we hit here. We just need one. We do get the one. So that's good stuff there for Dakartaz. And the rescue board going on to Greninja. Do have Kickflip out of the active. And there we go. Photon Blaster for 230 damage thanks to that lightning symbol ability. That is going to be first KO going to Dakartaz, and that's why we go second with this deck, folks. All right, so not exactly where you want to be. Again, I feel like in a matchup like this, whoever takes the first multi-prize knockout is usually in pretty good shape. This is going to be kind of a tough one here, though. If you can somehow power up the Gouging Fire, you're chilling, but I don't know if we're going to be able to see that happen here. Now, the good news is Miraidon cannot attack this next turn. So this is going to force Dakartaz to try to find a retreat. Not necessarily the easiest thing to do in the world. But, yeah. Yeah, definitely not the easiest thing to do in the world. Here we go. We're going to see the Eerie. I believe it's called the Eerie Fire. Let me double check what that move is called, because I'm not super sure. Eerie Glow. Burns the active Pokemon as well as confusing it. So that's going to make things, I'd say, a little annoying here for Dakartaz. So good stuff there from Nelson. Good situation to recognize. Ooh, the switch are coming through, though. That's going to clear status on Miraidon. Greninja has a rescue board attached, and retreat is still an option here. Yep. Immediately pivot back in. The Photon Blaster going to come through, take another 2 prize cards. I think we're going to go to game 3 here. I think that's what's going to end up happening.
Hay dos cosas que son absolutamente ciertas. Abuelita te ama y nunca diría que no a McDonald's. Date un gusto.
Yep, that is 2 prize cards down here Well, that's 4 prize cards down here for Nelson, so not necessarily looking great. Obviously, this year... Now, I'd say the saving grace here is that there isn't a lot of energy on the board, but the heavy baton is attached, so things are going to get a little awkward. I don't necessarily know if they have, like... This might just be all but over. Alright, so we're going to go get Greninja here. There we go to Lucian coming down once again. Hand disruption. Oh, that's doesn't. Oh, you're right. That doesn't work. Ah, that's right. It's got to be a future Pokemon. Yeah. Okay, so things aren't necessarily the worst here. If you can score a knockout here, the only energy on board right now is to the other Miraidon on the bench. So you're probably chilling for at least one more turn. I love it when Trek and Choose grabs Trek and Choose, and then you use Trek and Choose again. Gonna grab the switch card. Ah, okay. That's what it was. Not enough for Treat. So 2 prize cards on the board here for Nelson. So we're going to have to hit 260 HP somehow. Yeah, I guess that was... I imagine that was a thin, so... Alright, so let's see what the course of action is going to be. We're obviously going to promote the Greninja. It has the board attached. Greninja's going to be able to... I love it when I hit Trek and Choose into Trek and Choose. That makes me feel like such a genius. Okay. Brown Gunter coming out. Yep. There we go. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately the bugs they've been pretty rough today from what I've seen, so. So, not a bad game right there from Dakartaz. You know, again, these matches are probably going to go pretty quick. Both these decks swing heavy for 2 prizes. So, I mean, they're probably going to be fast games because of the nature of, you know, big basics. Alright, so far everybody is in 1-1 games right now except Liam and Adam. Have not concluded their first game. I imagine, you know, it's probably going to be a tough one for Charizard to come back from. All right, hopefully we have a nice clean third game here. Dakartaz. Go to, I guess, Nelson. So let's see if Nelson has what it takes here. I believe if you're Nelson, you're choosing to go second. You want to give yourself the best opportunity to attack turn 2. Both games have proven if you attack second, then you most likely win the game. We're getting back into that sort of, you know, area of the game where I feel like if you know if you have a deck that can pop off turn 2, you go second to make sure that happens. Very great start. Ooh. Bad hand. Granger looks like he's surprised, so that's not good. But, still fine. All right, so a much better turn 1 here for Nelson than what Dakertaz has. You basically have access to all of your major components here. And you're going to be able to at least get an attack off this turn. So, attaching an NTV, manual attach, and a free retreat, that is going to be a dead iron bundle. So, yep, not enough. Not going to be able to thin for restart, but we're going to be able to fleet foot here. You got the Delphox out. We could bench Delphox if we want to, but I don't really think we need to right now. There we go. Burning Rondo going to knock out the Iron Bundle. That's going to allow Nelson to get on the board first and assert dominance. Now, that is one of the few Pokemon in the Miraidon deck you can use to offset the prize trade a little bit. But now it's gone. So, most likely, I think we're going to see Arvin here to grab a Nest Ball. He had a Bravery Charm. Makes a lot of sense. Nest Ball going to hit here. Get the Miraidon out, and now you can start setting the game up. You can play the game. Congratulations. There you go. Once again, Tandem muting it again. Most likely to get out, I'd say. Yep, the Zapdos. Keeping that bench shot option open in case you got to bench somebody else. Very intelligent play here. Going to attach the Bravery Charm to Raikou V. Still trying to make use of this. I think, again, I understand what you're doing. You're trying to thin the hand for restart. So you're just going to give a right on an item that it cannot use. Alright, we're going to get the whiff here. That's going to be tough. Ooh, in the pass. That's tough. Not able to get on the board with a knockout here. That's going to allow Nelson to potentially further extend this lead. No, quick dilution here. Does this display a vacuum? Let's find out. No vacuum. It's kind of tough. Gonna possibly bench the Delphox V here. We're thinking about it. Not a bad choice. Gonna switch out of the active into the Mew EX to heal that 30 damage off of Raikou, so back to full health. We're gonna see Luchin come out here. Unfortunately, no access to Sada. That would have allowed a fire up of Gouging Fire, and that would have been enough to knock out the Raikou to keep up your prize exchange here, but unfortunate. And we're gonna hit Tails, or your opponent's gonna hit Tails, so that's gonna, oh, they're only gonna be able to draw 3 cards off of that. Alright, so the hand, not necessarily worse. We do have to restate. Dakrotaz does have the research in hand, so they're going to be able to get around this this Luchin pretty easily. We're going to see Ultra Ball come out here. So we're just going to do a quick search, take a lay of the land. Don't really need anything. Everybody's pretty well set up. Big restart for 1. Thinking about it, you could grab it. Alright, we are going to stick with the Gouging Fire in hand. Alright, so we do have the Lightning Rondo on deck here. So, yeah. Should be Burning Rondo on deck. We did hit with the Burning Rondo for 200. But now this hand looks kind of stuck here. And we're just going to concede. Tough start for Dakrotaz. That hand must not have looked that great. So, not going to be able to get the knockout that they were looking for. Nelson Guillen, 11-3, moving on into top 4. So there's an update here. TRT's won with the Lugia V-Star over our top seed. Wild stuff. Roadkills won with the Arc Aerodactyl over Charizard. Greninja. Nelson obviously won over Dakrotaz. So good stuff. Good stuff to Nelson, man. That was really, really cool stuff. Again, I think this deck is criminally underrated. I think it's a very, very good deck. You know, it's an interesting deck to say the least, man. I don't want to say it's the best in the format, but it hits hard. Yeah, I did notice. So let's kind of talk about what we got meta share wise tonight. A lot of Dragapult. Dragapult was the most popular deck by far. Lugia in a close second. Miraidon right behind it. So I think we got this like good little triangle here. of, decks that can kind of police each other, I think Lugia polices Dragapult pretty well. I think Miraidon polices Lugia pretty well. And I think Dragapult does okay into Miraidon, so. Let's take a look here. So yeah, Blissy's up here. We see Raging Bolt Ogerpon, which unfortunately was the last match we, we didn't get to see that before. Let's take a look how we're doing in this other stream. Let me. I'm gonna pop in here real quick. Okay, that was a match we just watched. Excuse me. So that was Nelson. Anyway, but yeah, so we unfortunately did not get the opportunity to see Ogerpon versus Lugia. I would like to see how that panned out. That matchup, I played that tonight at my local, and I played Lugia, and that seems like kind of a tough matchup for Lugia. Raging Bull's able to pop off for like 280 the second turn of the game. Like, if that deck gets to set up, it completely board wipes you. But at the same time, it's a very linear, two-prize heavy deck. So, I mean, if Lugia is able to get going, if you get a turn 2 Summoning Star, if you get your Chinchinos established, then yeah, you can start swinging for decently sized numbers. You do have access to Legacy Energy, which I think really breathes a new walk of life into this deck. It is so good. Let's take a look at what we have here. It looks like just kind of waiting for the rest of the stuff to come down here. So Nelson's going to have to play the winner. It's going to be either Pidgeot, Charizard, or Snorlax Stall. I imagine the Stall's not that bad because Gouging Fire just tears things to shreds. Lugia versus Archaerodactyl is going to be very interesting. Again, same thing. I think Lugia has always done really well against the Arc decks. So. Alright, so here's what we're going to do, guys. We are currently waiting for a match to finish. So, let's see what we're going to do here. I'm going to throw to a quick commercial break real quick, and then we'll be right back. I'm going to see if I'm going to have a match for us to go. So, hang tight.
ETA?
ETA significa ¿estaremos todos en Austin? O empezó la travesía con amigos.
Oh, este trip será amazing.
Ah, yo pensaba que significa Estimated Time of Arrival.
Eso también.
ETA. Encuentra tu auto en el evento Verano al Máximo de Toyota y comienza a vivir unas espectaculares vacaciones. Solo hasta el 3 de junio. Toyota. Vayamos juntos. El inventario puede variar. Visita tu concesionario participante para más detalles.
All right, everybody, we're back. Welcome back to Late Night. Number 196. We're almost at 200 of these things. Who would have thought? We're just waiting up for one of these last couple. It looks like Nelson might be our only streamer we got tonight. I'm going to double check. Yeah, I guess Nelson might be the only streamer we have right now. So we're just waiting for the stall match to finish here. Because it looks like Nelson might be the only one that's able to stream his matches. An update, TRTs and Roadkill are still playing. TRTs up 1-0. And I gotta say, man, I am very excited about the resurgence of Lugia V-Star. Pay attention later in the week. The Shuffle Squad's gonna have a video a little bit later showcasing that. Ooh, yeah. Shout outs to Pokemon Catcher. Not working. I love coin flips. It's my favorite. Yeah, listen, I think Lugia might definitely still struggle from, like, a lot of the shit that Lugia struggled with. You know, consistency, variance, lightning Pokemon existing, you know, in the format. But I still think it's really good. You know, you have really good attacking options at your disposal now with things like Ogerpon and Ursaluna. Chinchino's obviously still very good. But like just the addition, and now thanks to the addition of Legacy Energy, you have real Rainbow Energy you can play in this deck again. Crushing Hammers are tough, man. That is a tough card. Crushing Hammers are not great. Now we gotta worry about Enhanced Hammers, too. That's why I think Lugia, again, as good as it is, it's still gonna have some problems. Giacomo, Enhanced Hammer. That stinks, man. I'm sorry. Alright, so let's take a look at everyone else is doing right now. Yeah, TRTs, I believe, is still up 1-0 here. Waiting on the winner of this. Adam Calumet is up 1-0 by the way. Good on Adam, and he's playing again the very popular Tord Reklev list of Charizard with everything in it. This deck does get a couple of new cards to play with. Here you do have the new Kieran card. Kieran, I think, is great at correcting your math. It also gives you a pivot in Charizard, which is cool. So we'd love to see that. Is it Miraidon favored in the poll? I'm not really sure. I haven't played many Polt games, but from what I understand, Miraidon is able to get past. Because the thing about, I can see why it's favored for Miraidon, in that Phantom Dive doesn't really affect Miraidon. You play these huge basic Pokemon, so those 6 damage counters are really never gonna bother you. And then Miraidon just is able to blow you up with Raichu. So, it's not necessarily the hardest thing in the world either. And there's enough tiny guys on the other side for Dragapult that you have to play for consistency's sake, that I think, you know, it just leaves you open to Iron Hands plays. So I can see why Miraidon is pretty favored into that. So, I don't know. I think it makes sense as to why, you know, Miraidon is popular again. You know, if you can hang with Dragapult, Miraidon already beats Lugia. That matchup is still very annoying. You probably still lose to Charizard, but Charizard's probably going to fall off just a little bit. So who knows? I think we're in a good path. Miraidon, if you're Miraidon, stand up. All right, update. Lugia in the finals. That's sick. So TRTs has ran through their bracket so far, 2-0 the Arc deck. No surprise, again, Arc, when this, you know, once upon a time, Lugia was able to make very, I'd say, decent work of this matchup, just because you have to play all these huge basic Pokemon in Arc piles, so it's kind of hard to mitigate your prize trade. Kind of waiting to see what's going on between Liam and Adam here. Let's see what this is going on staff-wise. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, so yeah, so okay. All right, so Liam and Adam are in 1-1 splits right now. That's fun. All right, so again, I hate having to keep throwing it. I hate having to keep throwing it to breaks, guys. But I'm the only guy commentating tonight, and I can only vamp for so long. So we're gonna take another quick break. We're gonna take it up. We'll have another update for the bracket in a sec. So I apologize for how late at night it is, and I apologize there isn't much going on, but we got one streamer. We have a split game between Stall and somebody else, and we can't really play the rest of the bracket out yet. So I apologize about the delay, but hang tight. We'll be back as soon as we have any sort of an update. So see you in a bit. Alright guys, we're back. And good news. Stall won. So, we get to watch Snorlax Stall versus Miraidon. This is a matchup I don't quite understand how it works. So let's take a look at Nelson's list here. Oh, excuse me, it's not Miraidon, it's Gouging Fire. I imagine this isn't too bad. You do have the Jet Energies, you have Prime Catcher, you play 4 switch cards, so you should realistically be okay. And I'd say an advantage you have in this deck as Gouging Fire is that you can blow the doors off of, a lot of these caped big, Snorlax stally things, so. Snorlax is only gonna have so much HP. Snorlax has, again, an extra 100 HP with the, with the Hero's Cape and such, so. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. This is a very obscure deck choice, so I'm not quite sure how Nelson's gonna fare here. And looking at Nelson's path, the only loss that Nelson had today was to Liam. So we'll see if he's able to make things work here. Again, the problem is that you gotta, in order to get off the ground with Gouging Fire, you kind of have to bench some Pokemon you don't want to bench. But at the same time, you can't even avoid that, because if I'm looking at this deck list correctly, there's 4 Accompanying Flute in this deck. Accompanying Flute is a new card in the latest set that you get to reveal the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, and you can choose any number of basic Pokemon you find there onto their bench. So you can bench lock your opponent from being able to do anything pretty much. So it ain't great. It's probably not a great matchup, but we're gonna get into it. So let's take a look here. And hopefully it all. Looks like Liam is up. Excuse me. That's One Year's Flag. Thank you. One of my favorite bands. Big fan. All right. So kind of a interesting choice here. Let's say Nelson's going to be going first. Respect it. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, not a horrible start here. You're going to see the Grabber. Grabber's going to look at the hand. They have Arven in hand, so that's going to allow them to get their game off a little bit faster. Kind of sucks, but Arven's got a lot of good. I think maybe they have Arven, they have Misfortune Sister. Question is, what do you get here? Do you go for the Squawk? I don't think you want to. I don't think you want. You can't be ditching these switch cards. You only have a finite number of ways to get in and out of the active. So I don't know if Nelson necessarily wants to ditch that card. Oh, sorry, guys. Didn't mean to. Alright, we're back. Alright, switching to the active. Okay, I'm gonna use the Squawk and Seize and get a fresh 6. Really good hand for next turn, for sure. So they're gonna be able to get that, maybe to get that turn 1 attack off. Now, Arven looks like going to grab a Nest Ball and probably a Bravery Charm, I would imagine, but. And I think this is kind of the beauty of this deck, is that even with the Hero's Cape on, you were still able to knock out a Snorlax in one shot. So. All right, next ball coming through. We're gonna get the Mimikyu. Mimikyu is gonna be really good in this deck because you don't really attack with any other Pokemon that aren't V's. We do have the boss in hand though, so that is going to allow Nelson to get around the Mimikyu. And you still have Prime Catcher, so there are ways to get through it. I don't think there's any other non-V attacking Pokemon in this deck, though. That's the problem. Yeah, Fluttermane, I guess. That's about it. You also could attack with Mew EX if you choose to. You can copy Mimikyu's attack that would knock it out, but not going to be the case. You're actually going to see the 170. You're going to see the Hero's Cave go down on Mimikyu. That Mimikyu is not going anywhere. That is a solid Pokemon for sure. All right, dangerous game to play. You're already about half the deck milled through already for Nelson. Got to be very, very careful. Ultra Balling away the Ultra Ball and the Sada. Gonna grab the Fluttermane, and because it is an ancient Pokemon that is eligible to be powered up by a Sada. So we could possibly see a Mimikyu attack next turn, which would be an attack with the Fluttermane next turn. So you knocked out a Snorlax, that's good. The promotion could be the second Snorlax. Oh, excuse me. Right, okay, and the immediate pass back over. That's not great. That bodes you to believe that hand is not good. I think, and you're seeing how this deck complexion completely changes when you don't have the Rotom out. Rotom is so good about keeping your hand size robust. It gives you options. You know, you're able to draw 3 cards at the end of every game. So, not having it here is not great. And you played 2 of them, so the fact that they haven't been able to, search it out yet kind of stinks. There you go, just gonna punch into the things that, punch into the thing that's right in front of you. 1 Mimikyu against the world. Do they have a means to get another basic out? Let's see. Counter catcher coming through. Gonna, get the other gouging fire stuck and the pass. Dude, switch card in hand though. All right, thinning the hand out here. Gonna grab the Mew EX. Nothing to prime catcher up, so we're kind of forced to pass the buck here. And no V put down. That's kind of tough. If you had the Entei established, you can attach the Forest Seal Stone and then, get your energy switch. But unfortunately, not the case right now. All right, so we got to knock out on another Snorlax, and this is, I think, the game we're just gonna play here. We're just gonna keep trying to, we're gonna keep gusting around the Mimikyu, and Buddy just has nothing to do here. We do have the Earthen Vessel. Grab the Fire Energies. This deck would be really, I think this deck needs a vacuum. What deck do we got going on? This is Gouging Fire against Snorlax Doll for top 4. Winner of this goes on to play Lugia in Grands. All right, Pokegear's going to hit here. Do they have access to a supporter card? They have the Arven, so Arven's going to allow you to establish, again, more Pokemon, but we have so many gusting options in hand that whatever gets put to the bench is just going to get smoked by something, so. If you're Liam, you got to be very, very careful here. There's no way you both Rotom reprise, right? There's like absolutely no way. That's spawned Defiance Fest, okay. Wow, passing the buck. All right, there we go. Just going to keep... And now I think we're just going to play this game. We're just going to peck away at the lead here. So if they don't have a basic to put down, it's Jover. All right, we're going to... There's still a game to be played here. Pidgeot V coming down. So, for a Seal Stone. Smart stuff. All right, shuffling a hand thanks to the Iono. Rotom hits the deck here finally. So now we can maybe start doing control things. And that's also kind of tough for Nelson because all those gusting cards go to the bottom of the deck now. So play the grabber. Yep, Snorlax goes to the bottom of the deck. You could throw the Bravery Charm, I guess, on your Fluttermane here, but no, we're just going to Hex Hurl. Knock out the active. I'd say you're going to put your 20 on the... Yep, just split up your damage. So now you're just one prize card away from winning the game. Or one attack away, excuse me. All right, here comes the Pokegear. We are looking for possibly an Arven, possibly another Disruption card. I guess they're really not looking to use either Misfortune. Okay, yeah, Team Yell's Cheer gets the supporters back in the deck, most likely. You don't want... I don't think they want to use cards like Airy or Misfortune Sisters right now. Looks like the board is pretty established right now. Regardless, they gotta bench something else that's not a two-prizer. And I don't know if they're gonna be able to. That's the problem. You see the Airy hit the deck here. They're going to be... All right, and if this is... Yeah, this is... If they can find a way to get out of the active, things are going to be... You know, we'll see how things go. So the Lucian going to come through here. Tail's going to hit. So we're going to draw 3 cards. And there's a switching card. So this game's over. We have defeated the stall allegations. So Nelson's going to be able to win game 1 here. There you go. And again, this really makes a difference of what this deck looks like if you don't get a Rotom established. That opening hand was tough, man. You were not a single Rotom was seen until the end, you know, last few turns of the game, so. So good stuff there to Nelson, continuing to win with a deck that I don't think a lot of people expected to do very well. I don't want to say that. I think this deck is real. I just don't. It's so weird, but I like it, and I like the Lucian. I think that's a cute hand disruption card. So let's see if game 2 works out here for Nelson. Again, Liam had kind of a tough start there, so I'm assuming they're probably going to want to go second just to get Arvin. You know, this deck obviously wants to be able to get the attack off. All right, so we're starting Fluttermane in the active. That's actually pretty good. So at least going to allow Nelson to retreat manually. So that's good. Fluttermane's definitely not a bad start here. I think this card's broken, man. It's so good. All right, so we have a Gouging Fire established. Obviously, that's one of the... I'd say that's the first challenge. Oh, did we get a freeze? Okay, never mind. Whew. That wouldn't have been good. All right, ditching the switch card feels kind of bad, but like I said, you were able to manually retreat as long as Fluttermane's on the active, and you're not going to get knocked out. So, Baby gets to stay as long as Baby wants to stay. You want to get the Squawk down, obviously, to see as much of your deck as you can, see those 6 cards. Yeah, that's a that's a hand, all right. Oh man, not great stuff. Switch Art coming out. Fleetfoot. All right, next ball coming down here, getting another one down. Do we establish the Rotom? Obviously, that is one of the crux, the 10 pulls of this deck. Being able to get Rotom out early. Being able to play the game, that's pretty huge if you're stall. All right, passing the buck back over, drawing some cards. You have 3 Snorlaxes established. It's probably the easiest part of the night so far. Definitely nice being able to set up. So now Liam's going to be able to play the game. We have a switch cart in hand. We have a Magma Basin established, but that's only going to attach to the bench. We really need here is Sada. So if we can send down to 3 and possibly draw. This hand is not necessarily... This hand is kind of crappy, I'm not going to lie. There's a whole lot going on right now. The good news is you'll be able to... You know, Nelson will be able to attack the next turn because you have so much energy in hand. And you don't got to burn a switch. Ooh, but that's going to... Okay, well, you still have the switch card. So as long as nothing gets airied or... Oh, wow, I... Commentator's curse, ladies and gentlemen. Commentator's curse. I did it. I opened my big stupid mouth. Yeah, there we go. Nelson's just gonna pass the buck. The 2 worst things that could have possibly happened right there happened. You lost your switch cart. You lost jet energy. You just... That's what happens. So if you're going to cut your losses against stall, give yourself the most optimal chance to play into game 3. So let's see how game 3 goes here. Again, I think if you're Nelson, you want to go second. You want to take away the opportunity for them to get Arvin and get themselves set up here. You know, again, there's a lot of one-ofs and, like, really weird cards in his deck, so, like, there's always the high chance of bricking if they just don't get what they can on the first turn. Ooh, starting the Mantine, I guess not great. We got Artisan here to establish your Snorlax, and we got Rotom down, so. Alright, Fluttermane down here. Greninja down. Gouging Fire down. And Forest Seal Stone down. So we have basically everything we need to pop off here turn 2 to knock something out. We have the Magma Basin. Gonna bump the Stadium. Trekking Choose. Not gonna go for the Grabber. Grabber's not necessarily the best here. Energy Switch is an okay card to hold on to. I think you could go for the Lucian here. Worst case scenario, you're ruining your opponent's hand by 1 card. But nope, just opting for the Sada. Setting up for the long turn here. We do get the Squawk. That's really huge, but you want to ditch all these cards? I don't necessarily know if you want to do that. Alright, so Forest Seal Stone coming down. What do we grab? It looks like it's going to be the... Because this is going to be the Earthen Vessel we're going to get. I'm still not quite sure what the line's going to be here. I think you're just going to try to set up the best you can for your following turns. Fleetfoot's been used. I don't think you want to burn the... Yeah, because you're kind of in a rough pickle because you need the energy in the discard pile, obviously, to attach to Gouging Fire. That kind of stinks a little bit, but you're going to be able to get the attack off here because you've not attached Return yet. So getting the Jet Energy here is actually huge. It's going to allow for an attack of 260. All right, Pokegear coming down. We're probably looking for Arven. Worst case, I don't think you'd say no to any of the other ones, but Arven's probably the one you want right here. Yep, there you go. You hit the Arven, so that's I'd say that's the one you wanted. Nest Ball gonna hit the deck. All right, the Arven coming down. Most likely going to get the Hero's Cape if it's not prized. Probably another Nest Ball. That's what I would imagine would be the case here. Okay, so we Counter Catcher and the Hero's Cape. So somebody's getting dragged into the active here. It's probably going to be Squawkabilly, I'd imagine. Hero's Cape going down on the Rotom. But he can't. Alright, so. You're going to have to get out of the active here. Can we draw into a switching card? Not quite yet. Not quite there yet. We're going to hit the trekking shoes. I'm going to say no. Gets the switch card, so that's good stuff. Now we can start building up a second gouging fire, which we're going to be able to, it looks like. And then you can boss into something like... Yeah, you can't... Unfortunately, you're a little stuck. Rotom has a little bit too much HP, which is unfortunate. But you're going to be able to do what you want to do, and that's set up 2 of these very big attackers here. So... All right, there we go. Going to swing for 180 instead with the NTV. Smart stuff. You know, get the Rotom out in the active, force them to get the switch out. Makes a lot of sense. Oh, Penny's going to come through. It's going to pick everything up, and here comes the loop. We love Penny loops. All right, so we could go Sada here. We have plenty of switching options, so again, getting the whole team built up here is going to be huge. And the more you take out the Snorlaxes, you know, I think it's important to definitely focus your offense on getting the Snorlaxes. And now you have Prime Catcher as well, too. So you could realistically... Yeah, I guess you could swing for the smaller Snorlax here. No, you're instead going to go for the Rotom. And you're going to force them to keep Penny looping. So, if that's the worst you got to do, then it is what it is. There's no guarantee they have all the cards in the hand. I don't know if they do. We're going to check anyway. Liam only plays... He plays 4 copies of Penny. So there's a good chance he might have it. Alright. Still... Okay, yep, it's going to be instant charge. We have Mimikyu in the active. No way around it. That's going to be the hard part here. You only play a finite number of boss in this deck as well, so that's kind of the hard part. Yeah, you only play 2 bosses orders. I believe they're both in a discard pile already. You only play the 1 Prime Catcher. You know, you have your ways around. But it's going to take a while to get, you know, to establish this Flutter Mane because you have to attach twice from hand, unfortunately. So it's not necessarily like... It's an okay strategy. Like, I guess you don't necessarily play the Flutter Mane for its attacking prowess. But there you go, the boss coming through here. The Temple of Sinnoh going to come out. It's going to shut off the Jet Energy. You do have the Magma Base in the hand, so that is bumpable. So there's a way to sequence this to where you're all right, but it's still you're not You're not attacking in anything, and that's tough. Discard the fire energy. Draw 2 cards. Pokegear gonna hit. We do have the Lucian, so you're gonna be able to disrupt that hand at the very least. Guess how many of these cards back in the deck. There you go. Gonna shuffle these cards, put them at the bottom of the deck. Then everyone's gonna flip a coin. You get heads on Nelson's side, so Nelson's gonna draw 6. And we get a tails on Liam's side, so Liam's only gonna draw 3 cards. Lucian, low-key, not a bad card. Again, hand disruption is like, you know, there's an abundance of that in this format right now, so you're not necessarily hurting for another way to do it, but I think against control it's actually pretty good. All right, here we go. So we're going to do Hex Hurl. Put 90 on the active, and you're going to be able to spread 20 to the bench. Going to put all those damage counters right on the Rotom, so... All right, once again, counter captured into the active. Top deck in the switch card though, that's kind of gas. So you're gonna have a chance here to knock this thing out. So that's good. One more prize card. We're just gonna throw those 20 on the Rotom. Again, slowly picking away here. We got 4 prize cards left. All right, let's see. We're gonna be Hex Hurling again here. Again, not a terrible strat, but okay. No, instead we're just gonna retreat out here. Again, you can't do that. Fluttermane does shut off the active with it's I forget. I always forget what the name of this ability is. Midnight Fluttering. Gonna accelerate some more energy. Only 9 cards left in the deck though, so we're getting dangerously close to deck out territory. All right, knocks out the active. One more prize card. All right, Aries going to come through. Not really hurting if you get rid of the Ultra Ball and the Nest Ball. So, that's not necessarily like the worst. So, second Rotom hits the deck, and here comes a Force Wheel Stone. Still no V-Star power used yet, so that is an option they have to them. There you go. All right, draw 3 off the side is not terrible. As soon as you see the grabber, see what we can get. Just a lot of supporter cards and nothing. The Misfortune Sisters is tough. You only got 5 cards left in the deck, so you got to be very, very careful. Are we gonna be able to? Ooh, still enough to take the doors off here. So one more prize card. Gonna be the Delphox. Misfortune Sisters coming through. Take a look at those last 5 cards in the deck. How many of them are item cards? We'll find out. Oh, 4 of them. Oh, no. That is tough. There's 1 card left in the deck. Draw it. Do we have a will or a way here? Yeah, I think we're just conceding. I think we're resigning ourselves to this. This match is over. We're just going to pass the turn back. And yep. No cards to draw. Stall has moved on. So congratulations to Liam. Tough game for Nelson. Unfortunately, Nelson, I think, only lost to... I think he only lost like twice tonight, and I think they were both to. He lost 3 times, and 2 of them were to Stall. So tough stuff. I think that might have been our only streamer for tonight, also. So I think that might be it for us tonight. I'm just double checking before I say anything because Nelson was our only streamer. So we'll see what goes down here. All right, getting judging confirmation to see if we're going to be able to stream finals or if we're just going to call it a... if we're just going to call it here. Shout out to Joe, our judge tonight, helping us out. We are just awaiting to see if we can get a streamed match for finals. Otherwise, that might have been it. It is 4 o'clock in the morning. It's pretty late night tonight. Again, thanks for everyone that came out to participate. Everyone getting that last minute testing in for NAIC. I hear you. Y'all got to do what you got to do. Let's see here. We're awaiting. Let me go back to my main channel here, see what we got going on. Let's take a look what we're gonna do here. Alright guys, so here's what we're gonna do. So we are gonna end the stream out for tonight. It is late, unfortunately. I have to go to work in the morning, so we're just gonna call the stream here tonight. So good luck to Liam and TRTs in final. I hope everything goes well. And if you guys want Lugia gameplay, stay tuned to the channel later this week. We got some stuff coming out. So thanks for everyone for participating. Appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. Shout out to the Shovel Squad and everyone involved. And we're gonna hit the hay. And I'll see you guys later. Good night.